Well, there has been an intense exchange of gunfire on the line of control. To begin with, it started in Keran, Kupwara, and then it spread to Uri, where intense artillery shelling has been witnessed, damaging civilian infrastructure, bringing life to a halt, and also injuring at least 4 civilians, in which one woman later died at the hospital. And the Indian Army retaliated to the artillery shelling that was done in Kupwara and Uri. And a swamp of drones were sent into the Jammu. It started around 9 o'clock last night when multiple drones were detected. It was blackout in the entire Jammu instantly, and people ran into panic. And that's when India's air defense system ensured that none of these drones or any projectiles are able to hit the ground, and they were neutralized well in the air and they were brought down. And there have been very less reports or minimum reports of any damage to any person or any structure in Jammu so far. But the administration is gearing up to check if there have been any damages anywhere in the Jammu. Look, this is not, we are talking about line of control. This has now spread to the international border, and that's where in Pakistan has tried to carry out these attacks. And Jammu city and Kashmir is on a high alert. Even in Srinagar, where we are right now, the entire night, most of it was in dark. The lights went off. The air defense system at the Srinagar airport, which also is the defense airport, started getting into an action mode. We have been told that every defense establishment which could have been a potential target, the air defense system and every official there was active throughout the night, and the any attempt to basically target the airports or any defense establishment, the forces and the armed forces were prepared for it. But it was a long night for people in Jammu, where they ran into panic. They heard the sounds of blast and India's missiles also hitting at those drones, swamp of drones which is sent into the Indian territory. There has been massive shelling also reported from Rajouri, Poonch and other areas as well. The people at the line of control are facing the brunt. Many of them have been displaced and several of them have been moved to the safer locations. We were in Uri yesterday, where we saw the families have been brought to safer locations and into underground bunkers. And this has now started a new chapter between India and Pakistan, given the fact that the sort of escalation that we have seen building up towards the line of control and international border is unprecedented in the last several decades. And that is something where people are worried that what is going to happen next. Schools, universities have all been shut, the examinations have been postponed, and life has in a way come to a grinding halt because of all the situation that is unfolding in Jammu and Kashmir. The Chief Minister has gone to Jammu to take stock of the situation after that failed Pakistani drone attack that could have resulted in a great damage to the Jammu region, and also in Samba, Akhnur and other areas also witnessed the night full of activity, where India ensured that the defences are right and any activity or any harm to its territorial integrity and its civilian is neutralized well on time. But massive damage on the line of control, where artillery shelling has also been directed towards the civilian population, where multiple people have been taken to the hospital. They are being treated there, and there are less reports of any more artillery firing taking place in the morning hours. But it was a night which many of the people who live in those areas would like to forget. But yes, it was a haunting night where drones, it all went dark, and then because of the misinformation being also there, where people got into panic. But the government is telling people that don't run into panic, just rely on the correct information. The threats have been neutralized, and we believe that in the next couple of hours things will be a little clear on the number of casualties, injuries or damage that India has suffered, particularly on the line of control or in those failed drone attacks. There has been no damage. The officials have been clear that the threats were neutralized before they could have hit those targets. There were reports of Srinagar airport being one of those targets of drones, but people living near the airport did not hear any sound or any blast, and there hasn't been any official confirmation whether there was an attack on the Srinagar airport. And similarly in Jammu, what we have been given to understand that the threats were neutralized before in the air, and there's a possibility of a debris that might have fallen in the premises or the surrounding area. But there isn't any significant or great damage that the enemy or Pakistan would have tried to inflict on the Indian territory. Because if all those attacks would have come through and would have happened, that means a lot of loss of life, property and damage to the military infrastructure would have been there. But let me tell you that yesterday, all the defense forces, particularly the names that you took, Srinagar airport being a defense airport, because Srinagar airport is not just a civilian airport, it's a defense airport, and right now there are no flights running from it. So it has been been taken over by the Indian Air Force, and they are in a full action mode to ensure that every air defense system is charged, is boosted, to ensure that no damage is inflicted to this critical and important infrastructure for the armed forces, because it's a lifeline for the forces right now. And if there's any damage that is inflicted, that the enemy would want that, but that hasn't happened to be very clear to our audiences. But there are reports of drones being spotted at several places. Whether or not that holds true, that's the officials were waiting to confirm that where the drones shot down, where the projectiles fired at, and what was the damage and what was the intention. But look, it's very clear that they wanted to hurt India, particularly in its civilian critical infrastructure, not only civilian but also something which is used by the defense as well. You take a look at the sort of locations that they were chosen in Jammu. Those are all military infrastructure, very critical to the India's security, and they wanted to hit them. But the defense forces are saying that they were able to take them down and take them out before they could have hit it. The hospitals are right now on a very active mode, and most of the hospitals have been running throughout the night. We spoke to several doctors stationed in Baramulla, which is the district where Uri is. They've told us that all night they were on their toes and injured people were being received. There were also panic calls which officials had received about relocating them because they were in the line of fire. Not much could have been done when the firing was taking place, because civilians on the line of control have faced the brunt of the ceasefire violation by Pakistan, and because of the mortar being used, the artillery being used, so it's a long distance from where civilians could get hurt and hit. So that is why it's a trickling time bomb. If situation escalates, the people will suffer, and things might go not in the right direction where everyone wants to see it move. But yes, the India's Defence and Guard is ready, but we have been also given to understand that near the Jammu University there were 2 drones which were hit. Even not outside Jammu and Kashmir, the newly carved out Union Territory of Ladakh is where the blackout was observed, blackout was seen. So there could be a possibility of Pakistan also sending in some drones in Ladakh or areas close to Kargil. But we have to confirm that. But we have been told that there was a complete blackout in Ladakh as well. So this tells you the entire North India, particularly Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan was also on high alert, given the sort of activity that we have seen in Jammu. Now, next couple of hours will be very interesting, and the next couple of days are going to be very fragile for the relationship between the two countries, which are on a halt right now. But how civilians and how this goes on from here onwards will be very interesting and careful to watch out for.